This time on Woody's Garage. Can you get your little Johnson pumping this time?
Yeah, here we are on the water. What I'm going to do is take off those two nuts down there, and we'll take the carb right off. Like I said before, it's kind of hard to film here, so I'm not going to. I'll just show you the carb when it's off. Carb is off. You have to take the two jets out, place the shafts in order to get it out. That's what it looks like without the carb. Wish you could see into the reed valve. I think it says reed valves. Well, we cleaned up a little bit in there now that it was off. Okay, I can blow into it that way, which is the correct way. You turn it upside down. And I kind of can't, so I think the needle valve's working okay.
He thinks it's his bong.
Here's the bowl. It's totally clean, huh? Float. It's a cork float. Looks good too. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had it nice and clean before I tried it last time. We'll take this jet out of here. Yeah, it's totally clean too. Damn, I'd kind of like to find something wrong with it. You know, float level. Looks like it could be a little bit higher. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, basically you want to see it looking level when gravity is working with it. So, I was hoping to find something. There's a needle valve, pivot, and there's a float out. Obviously it's cork, so it's not hollow. And that thing looks like a brand new carb, god damn it. I can see if maybe there's something missing, like maybe some washers or something on these jets. And that's the good running 4 that I have. Notice the propeller, the lower unit, compared to this one. It's different, despite really being the same engine. Alright, everything looks really clean and really clear. And the only thing I can think of is the packing is messed up. See that black thing right there that looks like an O-ring? I remember, I think when I first took these apart, I first took my marine carburetor apart, I thought it was an O-ring and I tried to pick it out of there and it kind of like came out in pieces. And this could be the case with this. There's one on both of the jets. Kind of see it down there. So I'm thinking maybe I picked some of that out of there, and maybe those two O-rings that look about right might help. That is possibly the problem, is the packing. O-rings may or may not help, but let's put them in and we'll give it a try. Yeah, the carb's on. This is the accelerator right here. It's hitched up. I got the jets, the upper and lower, in. And you turn these guys so that they bottom out, and then I'm going to guess half. This is 1, that's 1.5. The high speed's on the bottom. This is the low speed, that's 1. We've got to hitch up the choke. And oh, these things, you tighten these down after the fact. And you tighten them to the point that yes, you can still adjust like this, but they're tight. I guess not only do they hold the gas from leaking out, but you know, it needs to hold the air from creeping in to affect the fuel adjustment. The choke just comes in from there, and it's got this little pin that comes through in a hole with this little tiny cotter pin that I hope I don't drop. Yeah, we got that. The only thing we forgot to put on was a gas line, which we should have put on earlier, but I got told to get that on. I might get out of here and pull up some of these big rocks that are right here too. Okay, that's on. I think it's time to try it. We're gonna go out in the water. I'll probably pull it over and start the camera when it's hopefully running. Yeah, sorry, this is the good one. It's a bucket. It's too nice of a day not to go out for a ride, so. But we did find out what was wrong with the other engine. It's a fuel pump. There's no gas coming out of the fuel pump. So we'll either have to get a new one or figure out what we can do about the one we got. But for now, let's enjoy the ride. An island right there. We'll go around the island. Okay, after a nice little ride, here is the fuel pump. Now while I was out there, nothing was coming out of this. I took this hose off here. When I pull it over, I don't see anything. When I got it running, by putting gas down this hose, it would run off that. And there was still nothing coming out of this. Now this also looks like it has evidence of newness, meaning I can't recall, my memory's so bad, that maybe I bought a rebuild kit for this once, perhaps. There's many layers in this thing. I remember being shocked when I took it apart and needed some help putting it back together by online videos and stuff like that. But I know I'm not alone in that. These are kind of complex. There's a screen right inside of here, and I checked that, and that was not blocked. But if they make a remanufactured or a knockoff, I think I'd buy it instead of trying to fix this one. But that's where we are. It seems like the engine has power. I mean, when it ran, it felt ballsy. I didn't have the carburetor dialed in because I wasn't getting gas flow, so this is the next thing we got to look for. Okay, we got our new fuel pump kit for the 4 horsepower Johnson outboard, and there's a part number and there's a big manual, and I'm going to put the pages of the manual in here so that you can print them out or read them or do whatever you want to do. Yeah, this video is probably going to be just a standalone segment of the entire 4 horsepower Johnson in case somebody just wants to see about the fuel pump assembly and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll get it right this time, because apparently when I went through the instructions, this outer plate is on wrong, and it could have been on wrong, and maybe the reason why it didn't work. But it also had a pretty dilapidated looking aftermarket diaphragm in it. So we got the kit. We're going to replace it. Let's go. Okay, so we got a piece of cardboard with some nails through it to kind of hold the pump in place. And we're going to remove the outer screen here. Just takes a screwdriver right there. Or if your fingers are strong enough, you can turn it off. So it requires loosening and taking off these screws. I didn't say that. And everything under here is spring loaded. There's one little spring right here, and there's a big spring in the center. So things can kind of come apart. Screws are out, and you can kind of see, yep, it's springy. Get this plate off. On the other side, it has a gasket. Now I'm taking this apart. Don't say that this is the right way to put it back together. I am taking this apart, and this plate was in the wrong position. It was supposed to be like that. And then we got this thing. They give you a new one of these, and you know, you'd look at this for the first time and you go, well, what the fuck? The gas has to like travel through these like channels through this thing, so you have to put this thing on right, or it's not going to flow. Okay, so we got that there. Then we got this, God, I'd like to give it the right name, but it's yet another kind of gasket diaphragm. If you notice, it has these areas here that are kind of flexible, that work like a diaphragm. And there's only one that you actually use, but it has two positions that you could possibly use. So I just took that off, right? And you'll notice that like there's a spring with a little cap on it right there. And that little spring and cap hit this thing. Makes it pulse. So you get that pain in the ass thing. And what happened to the cap? I'm holding the camera and trying to... Yeah, that kind of disappeared. The little cap on it, you saw that I don't know where it went, and it fell in some hole or something. But we got another one anyway. Okay, then this piece, this is a mysterious piece that pumps gas through it somehow. You'll notice that this side has a place for the diaphragm spring, which is right there, can sit right in there. So you know this side will go down. Now another thing I want to say right now is that you have these tabs up here, these little ear bumpy looking things. And you'll find them on the gaskets and on a lot of the parts. And they always need to point up, like this would be up. And these are actually drains here. There's one there and there's one on this side. Although I've never seen them drain. But they have to be pointing down. So that's something to keep in mind. Then you got this spring. Then you got the spring like keeper thing that sits right on top of the diaphragm. Now this is another thing that I think I might have gotten wrong, is that I put the gasket, although I don't even see the gasket, there's another gasket on top of this that sits on top, and I don't know, is it even there? I don't know. I've taken this thing apart now 3 or 4 different times, and finally we're going to put it back together with the right stuff. This was a rebuild kit. It was aftermarket. I don't know what it was, and I bought the real thing, the OEM, which I recommend. And this is the base plate here. That's where the gas or the suction comes in from the crankcase. And it's got to go through this thing here. Must come through there. I'm not really sure. But once again, you got those 2 ears that have to point up. Now, I'm going to go and take all the parts that we're going to reuse, which is this, this, not that, nope, and that's it. And make sure they're good and clean for the reassembly. This is all the old stuff here. And I'm actually going to move it off of this tray so that we have the new stuff closer. Alright, so we cleaned off the parts. Oh, so we got the base down. You'll notice those 2 tabs sticking up. Then we'll take this gasket right here and we'll throw that on there. Now, the manual makes a note that this gasket is actually not part of the older fuel pumps, but they say do use it if you're using this rebuild kit. So there it is. Then you want to take the diaphragm, which is here. If you look at my old one, which I was going to kind of show you, it doesn't look terrible, but it's definitely stretched out, and like this might be the inferior rubber or something, and it looks definitely like textured and thick compared to the thin membrane of this one. I don't know if there's an up or a down. It doesn't really say. Yeah. But we'll make sure, once again, that one of these tab things points up. One points down. All right. Then we're going to take the spring and the spring keeper, which this is going to get hard to do with one hand on the camera. That's the keeper thing there. And then the spring sits on it. And this is really fiddly-foo. I'm going to try to mount the camera someplace and take it from there. Hopefully this angle is okay. I'm kind of checking it out here. Okay, then we got this piece here. It says up right there, right on it in the corner there. And it's the tabs once again pointing up. And there's that indentation right there that receives the spring here. And this goes... This is where it starts to get a little dicey though, because that's sitting on the spring right there. And sure, I can push it down, but like, you know, now I've lost all control. So, what you got to do, now you got to refer back to, I'm going to let that go, and actually make sure like it's okay. You got to refer back, there's a reason that they had you do the diagram thing here is because you got to make sure which one of these two you choose to have the spring and this little spring cap thing on. And what I have found by reading the manual, which you can read, is that I want to have it on this side here. And this one here. And this is a bitch. You gotta, best way I found is you put the little stupid cap on. Now we lost the other little cap. I have no idea where that went. And then you gotta put it on this little, this little post. And there's the exact same thing over here, but depending on which way this thing's gonna go, it's gonna get channeled through these labyrinth of holes to go out. So that's on right there. Let me read a little bit. Okay, next comes this gasket. Might have actually gone on beforehand. And then the diaphragm. You can see the two holes right there and the two holes right here. And once again, you have a tab. On this gasket, you didn't have a tab. You could just tell by where the cutouts were. And this has got to go on top of there. Yeah, and knock over that spring tower with a little plastic job. So, things are going good. Okay, now I'm going to try to get this on without all those springs screwing up. Are they good? No, that one looks bad. I think you get what I'm trying to do. I'm going to try to, well, you probably want to watch me suffer too, because you're going to suffer doing it. Okay, that goes there. The gasket, and then the diaphragm here. Which, let me see if I can... Oh, son of a bitch. The white thing just shot over my head. I don't know where it is. So I couldn't find the white one. I went to my old original kit and thought I'd use the one from this, and I couldn't find it there. I searched all over the floor. I was grinding my teeth, and finally I found the black one from the last install kit. So I got one chance. Oh brother, this sucks. Makes me wish I didn't videotape it so I could pay more attention to what I'm doing, but I'm using that as an excuse. I should be able to do this. So here we are. There's a goddamn spring. Actually kind of put the... I was thinking of, like, you know, if I couldn't find it, like, you know, putting some super glue on the end or something to kind of make this little head. Yeah, there we go again. I don't know why these kits don't include, like, you know, look at how much can that thing cost? How about putting like 5? Because everyone's going to lose them. Or make it attached to the spring. This is driving me nuts. Probably should have put this on first. Wouldn't have to snake it around there. Okay, the hole's going to match those 2 holes there. I believe I got that mashed correctly. Need something blunt. Like a pencil. I think we got it there. Yeah, I can see through there kind of the head of the piece of plastic on the top of the spring, like pushing into the plastic, or pushing into the diaphragm. So now, what is next? I believe it's this. Yeah, it's just a cover gasket tin. Is this. I guess you can't screw this one up. No springs or anything to screw your ass up. Now, the next is the thing that I fucked up was the position of this. Now the instructions read, reinstall the cover with the stamp letter U to the outside. I see an O, and I see a nothing. So O it is. All right, that's kind of what it says. So now what you do is you take the shorter of the 2 sets of screws, and you can put it back together. I'm putting it the way smooth. We'll scroll it down so that it's not tight, just barely snug. We'll get this one down. Oh, I think it would have been better to have the nails in the other position. You know, like this instead. It's either my mistake or their mistake, or... Alright. Okay, and the last thing we got is this. Which fits right in there. So this can go on. You have to kind of go back to the original diagram again, that the inflow comes from down the bottom down here. Be like in this position here. It seems like this is really made to be only finger tightened because the slot for the screwdriver doesn't fit very good, but I think we snugged it up there. Now, there's a test. You go to the fuel pump, vapor pump test. You should be able to blow through the pump by blowing into the inlet, A, which is the big one, but not through the outlet. So I can blow through that, and all I hear is the diaphragm from that one. So I'm thinking this should be good. It's pouring rain outside, so I won't be able to test it out. Oh, and the only thing we didn't use is this gasket, which goes back here and goes against the block of the engine, which is held in by these screws. It's got a hole right there, and it attaches to the block, and when the pistons go up and down, they create a suction which works the pump. I hope. Look at that, would you? That fuel pump is working. Of course, today is extremely windy. So we're not going to try it on the boat today, but I can't wait to try it. Awesome. It's coming. Look. It's not mating season, guys. Yeah, maybe it is for them. Wow. I gotta reach in and... Starts first pull. It purrs like that. I compensated on the carburetor by putting in O-rings that were bogus. And I might have a problem with the drive, the plastic drive. Like a kitten. Well, I ran it for about 45 minutes and runs beautiful. Could still use a carb kit, and the bottom spline, plastic spline, I'd like to replace that. It's probably going to be expensive and hard to find, but I have the parts, the little piece. Maybe I can glue it back in so that it will hold, but I'm not sure about that. All in all, I'd say success. Okay, here's a view of the propeller and the plastic piece. It's broken. It's this thing right here, which, or maybe it's this. Haha. I don't know. These two, this is a weedless propeller unit. I really don't know what the difference is, but this pin goes through here, and holds this to the shaft, to the propeller. And one corner of this broke out a little bit. So what I was just running it on was, it was just holding on one side of plastic over here. I might be able to fill in that plastic with JB Weld or something like that, considering it held up pretty well on that trial run. And or we'll look for this thing. Yeah, good luck with that, right? Yeah, it looks like it's 27 and 28, the hub propeller clutch and the ring propeller clutch. Perhaps they were just together as one piece, so I just thought it was one piece. Look at the prices! That's not going to happen. So I think we're going to have to fix that or find a used one or something. For that pin, number 30, they want $18. Are you kidding? I guess it's different. It may be different than the other ones on the non-weed list, but that's what I used in there because I actually lost one. So here is the clutch. This fits into the propeller, and then a pin. I stuck in the wrong pin. I guess I'm lucky I didn't do more damage, like the damage is right over here. I have no idea if, you know, if that makes any difference at all, quite honestly. Let me, okay. The pin goes in there. So the pin basically goes like this. And the pin that I used was this guy, which is for a regular prop, not for this. And yes, it worked, but it could have torn it up more. It's got to probably go the whole width of the prop, you know, or most of it to catch. So yeah, it's like a $10 part or something like that. So we'll get a new one of those. I think this is reusable. These were about 30 bucks plus shipping. But I think this works. I mean, obviously I've proved it. I was out driving around in it. So that's probably all there is to it. Goes right in there, kind of like that. Don't know if I'll glue that back in. Might give it a little extra support.